This is seriously one of the most overwhelming things I've ever done. Hello and welcome. If you're new here, my name is Karen. We still have some autumn leaves going on here in Vermont, although a lot has fallen from the trees as well. Anyways, busy day already, and Wednesdays hit me like a ton of bricks because on Tuesdays I get up at my husband and I both get up at 1:45 in the morning to bring him to the bus in the nearby city so that he can go, 3.5 hours into his office because he has to do that once a week. That was a condition of moving to Vermont from his company. Happy day. And then I came home. I did actually take a couple little cat naps from 6:30 to 8, and then 8 to 8:40. I kind of fell back to sleep until 8:45 when I had to get up because I do a live on my membership at 9 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday. And in fact, today I was up, sorry about my filming. I have my phone here. I brought my daughter Rachel to an appointment. She is volunteering at the Historical Society here. Anyways, and then on Wednesdays we do Jesus doesn't care about your messy house. He cares about your heart. And then that's 9 to 9:30 Eastern Standard. Then I ran to the grocery store and I get in my car and Yvonne's like, Jabari needs formula. So I was like, I'll go later. But tonight, my husband and I have community group from our church, and I was looking this morning at what to make, and I give ideas. I ask ChatGPT, honestly, all the time, like, what should I make? And I get ideas. So I got 2 of these pork pieces because they were discounted, but I had already decided I was getting pork. So I looked at all the pork. This is boneless chef's prime roast, normally $4.19 a pound. So this was $7.88 and I got $1.50 off. I got 2 of those. And then I'm trying this new recipe that I got off of Pinterest, but also I got 2 of these coleslaw packages because I think it is so good to put coleslaw on your pulled pork. I also got rolls. Last week there were 16 people, so I got 16 rolls. And like, for example, I won't use a roll. I'll just eat the pork. And I also got sugar-free barbecue sauce. I hope this is a good brand. I was going to get Sweet Baby Ray's, and I saw this, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. Isn't that his name, George? G. Hughes. And I wasn't sure if I had smoked paprika because I know I got rid of some spices when we moved. So smoked paprika. So I'm going to go inside. I'm going to throw this together real quick in the crock pot. Bring my crock pot right to community group because that will hopefully keep it hot. It's about a between 20 and 25 minute drive. I also bring Yvonne into work today, but she's going to go in early, which will actually make it easier on me because then Jabari doesn't have to go out because community group's at 6, 5 minutes from her work, 6 to 8. She normally works 4 to 8. So then it's like, do you come all the way home? What do you do? So she's going in early. I'll take her just before 2. And if I really have to get formula, I will. But she's got 1 can left. So I think I can wait a couple days and put it on my normal grocery list anyway. And I want to compare prices. Anyway, what was I going to say? I'm going to put that in the crock pot. I got my new rug for the living room. So hopefully you're going to see that going down. And I would like to donate the stuff I decluttered last. I never donated. I also have a lamp in my room that I want to donate. And I might dive into the basement. I say it by habit, the garage, just a little bit to see what things I could pull out to get rid of. So maybe that is in the cards. I want to go to consignment and get rid of some of I had baby furniture that we don't need. For example, a pack and play. And then Yvonne also has a pack and play, a really nice one. And then we had a second one that somebody gave us. So that will go to my son and daughter-in-law. I don't know. We'll see what we can do today before I have to take her. And I woke up so tired, like I don't want to do anything, but it's amazing. You get your coffee in your blood and you get excited about the day and you just keep going. So come with me and hopefully I can give you some motivation for your day too. And this is what happened to my bag as I came in the house. Oh my goodness. You can relate. But it's so easy to get your groceries out when the bag is all ripped. That's the good part. You just go like this. Yep, that's what we do. This is what I'm really after. Cold brew. I can make up my Activia mocha shake with it. Yummy, yummy. I love having a crock pot so much because it enables me to get supper ready, or dinner, whatever you call it, while I still have energy, because I tend to be a morning person and my energy is primarily in the morning and early afternoon. Once 4 o'clock hits, I'm pretty much done. So if I can have things done, whether it is for a potluck or for my family, it is so nice to get what I can get done in the morning. You can see my gas stove beside me, and it is the first time I've ever really cooked on a gas stove. I am enjoying it because it just, it gets hot so much faster. It preheats so much faster. I like the way it crisps things up as well, but I'm definitely still learning all of the safety rules, so I appreciate you guys sharing the things that you know about gas stoves. And so one of the mistakes I was making was spraying oil on the pan while I had the gas burner on. I'm no longer doing that, just so you know, and I've told all my daughters and my husband, okay, make sure you're spraying the pan away from the stove before you turn the stove on. And of course, other things are keeping your long hair, sleeves, being aware of what might be near the flame. Even before my last video, I've always had the rule of I don't want anybody holding jabari in or near the stove while the stove is on. And I'm always kicking my cat off of the countertop that I'm here. Leo, he's always getting up on the countertop and it makes me super nervous. But it's always important to stay in the room when you're using a gas stove. Of course, with an electric stove, I used to put a pot roast in and go shopping. I would never do that here using the gas. One of you mentioned that you do spray cleaners on your stove top, but you just make sure to avoid the actual little burner spot where the flame comes out. I don't trust myself, so I'm trying to remember not to do that, and I'm just spraying my cloth and then using the wet cloth. Most of the time, I'm just using like dish soap, something very mild on it. I do want to look up how to get rid of any little residue or stains that are left behind. Of course, you also have to be careful about any towels that you might have in, or not in, you wouldn't have a towel in your oven, but around your oven and stove. You can see on top of my stove, I have the little shelf there for the spices. Notice that there's a little backing to that, and that's great because it keeps the spices from falling down the back of the stove. One of you had mentioned that you can lose flavor if your spices are consistently heated up. I don't really think they're heating up in that spot. Maybe they are, so just be aware of that if you decide to use the idea to put the spices on top of the stove like I did, that is a risk. Someone else had mentioned, if you're using oil a lot, which I do, you're going to get residue on the spices and they're going to need to be wiped down consistently, so that's something else to be aware of as well. I am using my minced garlic because I couldn't find our garlic powder. I think we might be out of it, but I'm putting the recipe as is on the bottom of your screen, and then you can make whatever adjustments you want to make. I do tend to be someone who measures, especially when a recipe is new. After I've made it for quite a while and I feel confident, then I will go ahead and just eyeball it. But between this being a new recipe and also making it for people outside the family, I was being extra careful. This recipe really did have a lot of flavor. I thought it was super good. I did also really like the barbecue sauce that I bought. I think sugar-free barbecue sauce tastes just as good as the barbecue sauce that has sugar. I really don't miss anything by buying a sugar-free barbecue sauce. Of course, I was adding 2 tablespoons of brown sugar to this recipe, but having said that, that was for 4 pounds of meat, and I didn't have the added sugar that the barbecue sauce would have brought in. This pork really did have a lot of flavor, but I had mentioned to my husband I would have liked some red pepper in it. So next time I think I am going to add some red pepper flakes. I think that would be really good as well. Or if you like cayenne pepper, it might be good with a little bit of cayenne pepper in it as well. Now I'm just mixing up the coleslaw according to the package directions. I like to get the one that has the packet of the mayo blend in it. I have made my own before, and a funny thing, one of the women at the potluck complimented my coleslaw. She said she doesn't like most recipes, but she liked this one. So that kind of cracked me up since it really wasn't my recipe after all. Right here, Jabari needed me, so if you notice that the hands and the sleeves have changed, that's actually my daughter Rachel. I asked her if she wouldn't mind just putting the flavor packet in and giving it a stir for me while I was helping Jabari. He was having a tough moment, and I think Yvonne must have been getting ready for work at this point. I need to gather more and more potluck recipes since we do this every Wednesday, and then I am also going to a ladies' potluck on Saturday. So let me know, what are your favorite things to bring to a potluck? I think I'm going to do a charcuterie board, or, oh, this is what I was thinking of doing. You put cheese and grapes and things like that on toothpicks, and you poke it into a small pumpkin and just kind of go all around the pumpkin. I think I might do that. If I do, I will definitely show it to you guys. So I put it in a bigger bowl just to make it easier to mix, and now this is the bowl that I will bring to the church. So I'm going to put it in there and let it chill in the refrigerator and let all of the flavors kind of meld together. Once I get my kitchen tidied up, I am going to head into the garage and just see what I can do to get started organizing, unpacking, and maybe even doing some decluttering in the garage. It's going to feel so good to get back to that. I've seen the question a few times of the difference between this house and our previous house. So our previous house was 1,755 square feet of living space. This house is 1,360 square feet of living space. Now, of course, we are planning to do the basement and make that into another bedroom. So it'll be, I'm curious to measure and see how close we would get to our previous house. But just to kind of give you perspective, we had a dining room in the old house. We don't have a dining room here, but we do have an eat-in kitchen. However, I will say the kitchen here is really not larger than the kitchen there. It's more of a difference of layout. It might be slightly bigger in square foot on the floor, but we do lose cabinet space. I have a much smaller pantry here. Let's see. Then we had a room that was like a bonus room with a cathedral ceiling that was, you could have used for a second living room. We used it for so many different things. At one point it was a game room, it was a playroom, it was a bedroom, it was a second living room. And then off of that, in our old house, we had a 3-season porch. That 3-season porch was also used as a bedroom. It was used as an office, or sometimes it was used as extra storage. Let's see what other differences. Now in this house, we have 3 bathrooms, 2 full bathrooms and a half bath. In our last house, we had 1 full bathroom and a half bath. So we did add an extra bathroom. Also in this house, the bedrooms are much smaller. Actually, 2 out of 3 bedrooms are much smaller. We have a deck on the back of both houses, but we do have a garage here in our new home that we didn't have in our previous home, and we have a lot less land on this home. Seriously, could anything be more overwhelming? So I'm going to go through and just kind of pull out things that no one's even going to notice if I get rid of, is how I feel. Then I can also pull out things that can go in the house that we are keeping. And I can pull out things that I'm getting rid of, even if I can't get rid of it today, like consignment. So, are you ready? I'm going to give myself a time limit. Let me go in and get my phone. All right. I was going to say an hour, and I was like, you're crazy. I'm going to say 30 minutes, and then I'll see if I have another 30 minutes in me. All right. Hitting the start button for 30 minutes. It'll take me a little extra long just because I am maneuvering cameras and such, but these empty boxes that I use for storage in the house, I'm actually going to bring these in the house and see where we might be able to use them and if anybody would like to use them. And then any that we're not going to use, mayhaps they will be donated. So these are coming in the house with me. Here is another one. Like, I could use these in my closet. The girls can use them in their closet. So here is another one. Right now, I'm just putting them on the step going into the house. Then I also see some trash. All I have right now is kitchen bags, but I'm going to go get my kitchen bags because I know that my recycle bin does not take styrofoam, so any styrofoam can go in a trash bag and be put in the trash. And then things that can be recycled, I can put in the recycle bin. But the big pile of cardboard, let me show you. This we need to take to ourselves to the dump because there's so much of it. Because I do tend to fill my recycling bin weekly. It's the blue can right there. If it were me, I would have chose green for recycling. You know, green earth, but that's just me. I also see more empty boxes right here, so we'll pull those out. So this, for example, is a chair for Jabari. So these that plastic can go in my recycling bin. And then there's these little styrofoam pieces that can go in the trash. And then this needs to go to the dump. Okay, here's my little crock pot that I'll use for like dip, or I use it for like simmer pots. So I'm going to pull this out, and I know it now fits in my kitchen from reorganizing spices. So this is coming with me. It is coming all the way into the kitchen, and I'm going to put it away because it's so important to complete the cycle and not just make a pile of things that I'm going to have to do later. Okay, let's try that again. It just fits. Look at that. Whoa!
Okay.
You want to use a basket? You want it to be yours?
And you just want to tell Leo how immature he is because he needs a basket?
I'll tell him.
This is seriously one of the most overwhelming things I've ever done. And I realized the basement was overwhelming. But when I started it, it was disguised as content for YouTube because I was doing a challenge with Michelle for my everyday wife life, and now it's just an overwhelming thing. But we're going to keep going, and I'm not going to get discouraged. This is trash, and I think it's all recyclable, so I can put that in my recycle bin. Why is it here? I don't know. All right, this is an oddly shaped blanket that I knit that should have been, I should have kept going. It should have been longer. So I'm going to get rid of that as well and donate that. It's with other blankets as well, but which makes me realize why I kept it. But honestly, I don't like it. I liked it when I made it, but I'm over it. I mean, this was years ago. So, this is coming out and going in my car, and I'm going to donate today. Oh, I see something else I want to donate to. This is great. I'm getting rid of this Trader Joe's bag, not because we can't use it, but because I never do use it, and I can feel it has grocery bags in it. I will keep a few of these, some of the bigger ones. And so I'm going to get rid of these. And then I'm keeping some of these bigger ones because I should be bringing them to the store. And this is a really great bag that someone can use. I just don't use it. I bought it because I was going to use it going shopping, you know, all of these. I watch videos of people using these, and it's a great idea. But I'm so close to stores now, I don't really need to have this. This is not going to be an amazing before and after. It's going to take a while. But just to show you that if you have a big old mess and you're feeling the same way, you're not alone. And honestly, what if I had not done all the decluttering? I think of that all the time. What if I had not done all the decluttering I did in Maine? What would be my situation now? So, if I'm going to use these for shopping, they should go in the car. I feel like such a klutz because it won't even stay in the bag. Alright, so let's go to the car. This has like tools in it for my husband. The only thing is he has this doorknob set. Let's see, does it have a doorknob in it? It feels like it might. Alright, we'll just keep it for now. This I'll put with his tools, which right now is over here. Alright, I hear the train. Let's go see it. All we gotta do is walk to my backyard. Okay, you ready? Because now the leaves are starting to fall so you can see it more clearly. This is right outside my bedroom. Does it wake me up? Rarely. There's this really funny Goofy movie from like the 1950s where Goofy's trying to go on a vacation. He ends up in this dumpy motel and a train goes by while he's sleeping and he's like jumping like it's making him jump. And it's a riot because my son Tyler showed it to us. It's so funny because it does shake our bed when the train goes by. I told my husband, I'm like, just pretend you put a quarter in the bed and you've got a massage. I've got 2 minutes left. So what I'm going to do with my 2 minutes, because I'm like, okay, 30 minutes is just about right. I have some things for Jabari in here. One is this. I have some things to ask her if she wants to declutter, but I know today's not the right day for that. It would be too overwhelming. And then he also has this, which has the bowls and stuff. So I'm going to bring that in, and what I just showed you, I'm going to take a self-care break, and then I'm going to find places for this stuff. As our little man is like, is coming close to 6 months old. He's 5.5 months old. And the doctor, his pediatrician in Maine, said, I want to start him on food now because he was spitting up his milk a lot, and he thought it would actually help, and weirdly, it does. I also see some styrofoam. So I'll put the styrofoam in the bag. Honestly, you can't really tell I did anything. But you got to start somewhere. And part of this is really unpacking too. It's not just, like, this isn't just stuff in the basement. It's stuff that we brought and have not unpacked. So that is the challenge as well. Break time, and Amazon has very good quality adult coloring books if you're looking for one. So it is almost 3 o'clock now. So I did what I was doing in the garage that you saw, and then I decided to just sit down with my coloring book and do some coloring, and I kind of just stayed with it. Let's see, I talked to my daughters. Rachel was noting that Leo our cat is going to need more medication soon. He has an autoimmune disorder, and so she called and kind of got that all straight. Was like back and forth phone calls between old vet, new vet kind of thing, and was able to get an appointment with him. And then Jabari got up, and I was helping out with him while Yvonne was getting ready for work. So, you know, life just kind of takes off. Now I've taken Yvonne to work, and I'm gonna go home, and I don't know if Jabari will, that kid loves to be held. Oh my goodness, does he love to be held. But I would really like to organize, his little food dishes and stuff that I brought from the garage into the kitchen. I also brought some dirty laundry down to the kitchen, and I asked the girls, I'm like, hey, if anybody's got laundry, could you please get your stuff out of the washer dryer so that I could do laundry. So we'll see where that ends up, and I want to check out the pork and see how that's doing, because let's see, community group for us at our church starts at 6 o'clock, and so we'll probably leave just before 5:30. So I have 2.5 hours before that happens. So we'll see if Mr. JB will sit down on his own. He has a little chair, but he doesn't always love it. So we'll just kind of see what we've got to get done and what we can get done. It's just a gorgeous day today, honestly. Look at that gorgeous sky, and we still have some of the colors of autumn, but you can see that most of the trees have lost or are in the process of losing their leaves. So cold weather is definitely coming. All right, that is after about an hour and a half. My focus has heavily been on unpacking and organizing and finding storage solutions, but I've also been just kind of poking through decor and looking at what I might like to have for colors and curtains and rugs and all of the things, and I just happened to see this rug on Wayfair. I like to use area rugs because I feel like once a rug is, quote, spent, it's just super easy if it's an area rug to replace it rather than wall-to-wall carpeting. I do have a rug shampooer, and I definitely use that on my area rugs, but once they get past the point of no return. I like that I can just replace it, and where we have a baby and we have 2 cats, and I'm not real picky about people taking their shoes off when they come in the house. It's just nice to have that option. Anyways, all that to say, I saw a rug I really liked. I'm very attracted to like the pale oranges and teal / turquoise colors. And I saw this rug that I really loved on Wayfair, and it was on sale. So I decided to go ahead and grab it. And I do always get the rug pad that goes under it. It helps it not to slip. And I also feel like it gives me a buffer when I am using my shampooer on the rug between the carpet and the flooring, so I'm sure not to ruin any flooring with my carpet cleaner. So it came super fast. I love Wayfair so much. And so as soon as I'm done with the dishes, my husband is going to come down and he's going to put down the new rug. So I'm very excited about that. You can see the baskets right there that I took from the garage. You can see the carpet rolled up, and I told everybody, if you want any of these baskets, then go ahead and take them. That gray fabric one, I am going to declutter, I have decided. And then no one really took the basket, so the one on the very top is probably going to be used in the bathroom to store extra toilet paper rolls on the back of the toilet, since I haven't found the basket for that. And then the other ones I might use in my closet just to see if I like having the basket in my closet. So we're clearing floor space of baby furniture. By the way, that bookshelf that rotates, I got that at Amazon and we really love it. My husband loves having it right beside his chair. So here's the rug pad. Also, the way they roll the rug, I was so impressed. There were no like bend marks or fold marks on the carpet at all. It's interesting, I have the glass end tables that I had in my previous home, and I didn't notice that fingerprints and such showed that much, but there's something different about the lighting here, and it just shows everything. And I don't like them anymore. And so I am also on the hunt for end tables. I think I might have found one. And I might either, because I'm looking for end tables that have some storage so that I can put Jabari's little toys in one of them. And then I thought the other one could house anything that we have in that TV stand. And I could get a TV that goes on the wall and not need a TV stand. So I feel like the size of the home here can very easily seem overcrowded with furniture, especially since we have like cat beds and baby furniture. I have a couple of stools for the counter that are kind of just like wedged under there. And so I just feel like it could very easily look super duper crowded. I do have a desk against the wall at the end of the stairs for my daughter to use until the room in the basement is done as well. And of course, pretty soon we'll have a Christmas tree up. Let me know, when do you decorate for Christmas? I actually think I'm going to do it early. And normally I do it the weekend of Thanksgiving. So we do Thanksgiving on Thursday, and then either Friday or Saturday we normally get our Christmas tree, and we always get a fresh tree. And then last year I had 2 pencil trees flanking my buffet in the dining room. I still do have those pencil trees. I'm going to look into it and see if those can possibly go outside. I would love to have a tree on the deck. Leo was relentless. Every time my husband shooed him away from the rug, he got right back on it. Woozy's older and more mature. Once we got Woozy off the rug, he didn't come back. But Leo just could not seem to get through his head that he was not welcome on this project. But you know how he has to be a part of everything. So here is the carpet. I just love it. Now, there is a big design in the, quote, middle of the carpet, and it's not going to go in the middle of our living area. And I was like, is this going to bother me? But it's interesting. You just get used to how something looks. So after the first couple days, then it was fine. I didn't really notice it anymore. And I'll probably have to get something so those edges, you can see the one edge that you can see is curled up just a little bit. I've been putting Jabari's chair on that at night to kind of help it flatten. But, you know, you always end up with those curled ends. And if you have a solution, put it in the comments in case it's one I haven't heard of, especially if it's one you've had really good luck with. So this was, the rug pad goes with this rug, but it was still a little bit oversized. So anything under the couch I didn't care about. So I told my husband to just trim the part that shows. You can see him kind of touching his back. He would not let me lift the couch for him. I offered several times, just so you know, because he was afraid that it would hurt my back. So he is still having back trouble. Hopefully that's going to work itself out at some point. He's not really up for, checking in with a doctor. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Also, I thought we could just cut the edges with a box cutter. That totally doesn't work. You got to use scissors. So I was so happy with this once it got down, and I like the blend of colors. In my last house, because I was doing more seasonal decorating every season, I wanted a very basic rug so that it was more of a neutral. But in this home, I decided, let's just turn the tables here, and I wanted to cozy it up more. So I wanted more color, and I'm just so glad I did. I'm so glad that I'm not using the gray carpeting. I have that in the basement right now until we redo it, that carpet from our old living room. But as soon as we're done with that room, that will be donated once we get a new carpet for the basement. But here is what it looks like. You'll have to let me know what you think of it. There's the kids' toys. They're piled by the stairs because they were here recently. There's so many things right now that I'm trying to find solutions for, and to be perfectly honest, I can forget what I really want to focus on sometimes. So having it there at the bottom of the stairs, having the box on the counter that I need to deal with, kind of helps me remember and keep focusing on what my next solution is going to be. So I love having some toys in the house. I love it when the kids come, my grandkids, they have something at our house that they can play with. That's not what they have at their house, because I just find it makes it more special. It keeps them occupied for longer, but they do also bring their own toys as well. But I love having something there. I might declutter a few of those, but I like having something there that they're not used to playing with. It just seems to keep them busier for longer. Here is the look of the living room from the stairs, which I love. Plus you can't see my messes, so we can pretend they're not here. And steaming up my camera is the pulled pork, and so it's all ready for me to pull apart. It actually was ready after 7 hours, which worked out great since I didn't even have 8 hours. And then we were able to go to our community group with the coleslaw as well as the pulled pork and rolls. It was a big hit. There wasn't a ton left over, which made me happy. I'm just pulling out any large chunks of fat because nobody's going to want that on their plate. And I was really glad. I snapped the cover on this and took it. And I will say that some of you had said, as you notice, I didn't snap the lid on while I was cooking. Some of you had said that that's not a good idea because pressure can build up. There is a little hole in the lid, so my husband argues that that little hole would let any steam escape that was necessary. So do your own research, but I just thought I would throw that out there. And of course, always put cold items in a cold crock pot and put hot items in a hot crock pot. So if you have something that you've cooked on the stove and it's hot, it's always a good idea to preheat your crock pot so that you don't have to worry about cracking. And I had one crock pot, and last Christmas, or was it the Christmas before? One of the Christmases I knew I was doing soups. I had the whole gang here. And so I got 2 more crock pots at Goodwill, and that is a great place to find crock pots if you need extras. And then I also have my small little crock pot. So I have to kind of decide, am I going to keep those 3 crock pots in the event that we have family come again, because we're soup people and having different soups for different people worked out so well. There's so many decisions to be made. So keep on watching if you're new. And you haven't subscribed, I invite you to subscribe if you like organizing and decluttering and downsizing from a larger home to a smaller home. Stay tuned because I'm going to be going around this house as life gives me time and figuring out storage solutions and decluttering the things that don't fit and just making those tough decisions. So I would love to have you along with me. And then I also have the membership side where I am live Monday through Friday from 9 to 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then all of those videos are also available for my members to watch at any time. There's also a couple extra videos of just some more personal things that I can't share on the public side that I'm able to share on the membership side. I never did get to the, what's it called? Lord help us all. I never did get to the baby stuff. That's okay, because Yvonne had to go to work, and then I kind of need her to see what she wants to actually use. But I'm happy we got that rug put down. So this is what we got done in a day. Now we're going to be heading off to community group and just enjoying some fellowship and then heading home. And oh my goodness, the pulled pork is so good. I hope you try the recipe, and if you do, let me know. So remember, as always, God loves you, I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.